is your storyteller Chip here, ready for more epic tales. We are just on line, I think, YouTube, worldstorytellingcafe.com, obviously epictales.co.uk, and yes, Facebook too. Fantastic. We are everywhere in the world that you can possibly be, thanks to the amazing power of satellites and technology, in order to share stories, which is something that humans have been doing for a very long time. And you probably know loads of stories yourself. I imagine that you've heard stories like Sleeping Beauty. You may well have heard stories like The Three Little Pigs. I'm deliberately trying to think of stories that we are not telling today, which is actually really hard because we are going to be telling stories from forests. And it's an incredible story that we've got lined up. And joining me today is a good friend. I'm sure not the fox that just ran off in that direction, but a good friend of mine who you may have seen if you have watched some of the videos that we did before this year started. Back in 2018, I think, was the last time Amy joined me for a storytelling video right here on the internet. And the first time I think we did storytelling videos for the internet was 2011. That was before many of you were born. And it was when we were telling stories like The Little Red Hen and The Big Carrot and so many others like that for oxfordowl.co.uk. You should definitely head there if you want to see some fantastic stories, not just from Amy and me, but from lots of other wonderful storytellers as well, and you as well. And also stories like Winnie the Witch and Biff, Chip and Kipper. That's a different Chip, by the way. I'm a different Chip. If you would like to join us here in the World Storytelling Cafe for this morning, you can do that whether you've got a camera or a microphone or not. All you need to be able to do is see the little join story button at epictales.co.uk or at worldstorytellingcafe.com. Click on that and you can join me live, ready for when Amy gets here and the story fun begins in just about 2 minutes' time. If you are watching anywhere else, that's absolutely fine. Maybe you're not even watching live, in which case don't click the join story link because that probably won't do anything. Just sit tight and relax and wait for the story to begin. Like this little man here. There we go. I mustn't forget though that at the very start of this story there is going to be that moment where the epic book opens and fly out 2 stars. You're going to get 2 stars this morning, and in both of them you're going to have a storyteller, and each of those storytellers is going to clap in time with the drum beats. Boom, boom, like that. So if you can, see if you can clap along with us and welcome the story in this morning. Janina is going to pop up in the star in just a few seconds time so that you can have a practice. So you get your hands ready like this. You can do jazz hands if you like. And when you see Janina, see if you can clap in time with her in practice. Oh, here she is. There we go. Again, I think I beat her just a little bit. Did you manage to get in time with her? If you want to have a go at giving us those claps when the theme tune starts, then that will be fantastic. That will help to wake up the story ready to start. Don't worry if you can't though. Maybe you're handcuffed or something. That's absolutely fine. There'll be other people out there. We've got some folks here at the World Storytelling Cafe ready to clap, and I'll be clapping too, as will Amy, as we dive into this morning's story. Amy, I hope, is going to be here in the next 10 seconds because it looks like the story's ready to start. So get your jazz hands ready, and here we go. Well, the warmest of greetings to you here at the World Storytelling Cafe. Here is where stories happen, and I am your storyteller, Chip. I'm so pleased to welcome you here today because it's not just me welcoming you. It is also a very good friend of mine who has shared stories with me on the internet before, and her name is Amy. You may well have seen her yourself if you've seen any of the other storytelling that we've done, either for Epic Tales or for the Oxford Owl at the traditional tales pages of the Oxford Owl. So it is my hugest pleasure to welcome Amy here. Hello, Amy.
Hello, I'm your storyteller, Amy.
It's so good to have you here, Amy. It's a very good friend of mine. You may have heard her telling a story if you've been listening to the Epic Storytime podcast. And Amy and I used to tell stories together all the time. Because last week it was Forest Friday, we thought we'd have Amy in today to share our favorite forest story that we used to tell together all the time. And you were really up for it, weren't you, Amy?
Yes, I can't wait to tell this story again. Shall I start?
Yeah, oh, definitely. Let's dive right in. I think we've done the claps now. We've done the introduction. Everybody is ready for the story.
All right, here we go. This story starts in a dark forest, and through the middle of the forest, riding on a beautiful white horse, goes a man. The man was hunting something really special. He was hunting a big white boar.
And I guess on a horse next to him, must admit I'd completely forgotten about the horses, but on the horse next to him rode his sister. And the two of them were...
His sister? He doesn't have a sister.
Yes, he does. I'm pretty sure he had a sister.
Well, he might have had a sister, but if he did, she doesn't come into this story.
Really? Oh, okay. Maybe if you tell a bit more, you'll refresh my memory then. Sorry, everybody.
As he followed his hounds through the forest, the white boar was going in and out of the trees, and he couldn't find out where it was going, but he knew he really needed to bring it back for the queen. Oh, because you see, this man, he was a king.
Now, hang on a minute. A king? When did he become a king? Was that before or after his stepmother came along and...
Stepmother? He doesn't have a stepmother?
Yes, he does, and she is definitely important in the story. You can't tell this story without the stepmother.
You know, I think we might be thinking about two different stories.
You know, I think we might be, actually, which is quite possible, isn't it? Because we have told lots of stories together, and a fair few of those had forests in. There are lots of stories with forests in, aren't there?
Yes, yeah, there really are lots of stories with forests in, aren't there? Goodness, I can think of, well, lots. Shall we try to tell as many different stories with forests in as we can?
Ooh, what, all at the same time, you reckon?
Well, what if they were all taking place in the same forest?
Ah, that's an awesome idea. And do you know what? This has made me think because when is it? I think next Thursday it is National Poetry Day. We could put it all into a poem as well. What do you reckon?
That's a really exciting idea. All right, let's do it.
I think we might be able to do this. We have also done quite a few poems together in the past, haven't we? There are even some poems in the book that we've written together. So I wonder if we can tell as many stories as possible in a forest, in a poem, and you folks out there watching this, see how many you can count. See how many you recognize and how many different stories you can count. Do you want to start us off, Amy?
Yes, I'm ready. I'm going to start with the same story I was telling because it's still my favourite. Here we go. Through the forest where leafy trees rattle and rustle with every breeze, and the shadows creep on the forest floor, a king is hunting a great white boar. He gallops to follow his faithful hound, but what has that barking and baying dog found?
Not the white boar that the king was stalking, but a boy and girl who are carefully walking through the forest where leafy trees rattle and rustle with every breeze. The boy drops crumbs along the track, leaving a trail to lead them back. But his clever plan will surely fail, for hungry birds are eating the trail. And as the children begin to cry, they turn a corner and suddenly spy
through the forest where leafy trees rattle and rustle with every breeze. A girl who is wearing a scarlet hood and gathering flowers from the floor of the wood. But there in the shadows, unseen by the child, a wolf who is hairy and scary and wild is licking his lips and then loping ahead to a quaint little cottage and hiding in bed. But through the forest where leafy trees rattle and rustle with every breeze,
a daddy and mummy and baby bear are on their way home. Who's hiding there?
A princess! She hid from her stepmother queen, and there in the cottage she started to clean 7 small chairs and 7 small beds, until, with an apple all rosy and red,
through the forest where leafy trees rattle and rustle with every breeze, an old man searched for the perfect rose to give his daughter the gift she chose. But unknown to him, the rose he stole belongs to
a dragon?
No, a beast.
No, a troll.
Through the forest where leafy trees rattle and rustle with every breeze, a daughter is riding to rescue her dad.
A prince asks 7 small men why they're sad.
3 bears find Goldilocks sleeping in bed.
A woodcutter hurries to find Little Red.
A witch adds a sweet to her gingerbread door.
And a king is still chasing a great white boar.
Forests are places with magic inside, where mystical creatures and fairy tales hide.
If you don't believe us, just come and see. Find a forest and walk with me. Through the forest where leafy trees rattle and rustle with every breeze.
Fantastic. That was so much fun. Thank you for joining us for this, Amy. Have you enjoyed it as much as I have?
Yes, that was really good fun. I wonder how many stories we managed to fit in.
Do you know what? I think I lost count halfway through, but hopefully those of you who have been watching this poem have been keeping count. Were you also checking to see which ones you recognized? Well, our epic challenge for this week is going to see if you can do something kind of the same. Take a story that you know that has a forest in it and try putting it with another story that you know, all happening in the one forest. If you like, you can put yours into a poem as well, or you could maybe draw a picture of these characters meeting each other, or you could just write it down as a story. You could maybe tell it as a story, just like Amy and I have done here. And in fact, if you want to, you could maybe even do it with some friends as well, as long as you're doing it socially distanced like Amy and I are, or if you are able to do it at school with your camera in the same room, that would be absolutely cool too. Just as soon as you have done that, make sure you send your creations to epictales.co.uk/challenge so that Amy and I can read them, because I think we'd really like to see your pictures, your poems, your stories. Would you like to see them, Amy?
Oh, yes, definitely. I can't wait.
Oh, and if that's the case then, Amy, do you think you'll be able to join us on Friday at 2 o'clock for our sharing special to maybe have a look in the Epic Post bag, see what people have sent in, and I don't know, maybe even read out any of the stories or poems that people send us?
Oh, I'd really love to. I'll try to be there.
Fantastic. Well, then I think we are so looking forward to what we're going to see in our Epic Post bag this week. Remember, we're still celebrating forests. We're maybe celebrating National Poetry Day on Thursday if you want to. All the time, we are celebrating stories and we're celebrating you and your creativity. So we look forward to seeing what you have to share with us at epictales.co.uk/challenge. We'll look forward to seeing you again on Friday. Right now, though, it only remains for us to say cheerio, and we hope to hear your story soon. So, do you want to do this one, Amy?
Cheerio! And we hope to hear your story soon.